Adam, as a new employee of a company, let's say that you've got a company that's been founded. You're one of the first executives to come in who's not a founder. Maybe it's the COO, something like that. You're being hired by a startup. What are some things to think about in terms of your comp package, your benefits package, all those sorts of things, where a company probably does not have a formal plan yet? What are some things to be thinking about?
You have to make sure you understand what is being presented to you, because if the startup does not have some of the formalities in place, maybe they need to get those formalities in place as far as vested options or stock option plans or some type of deferred compensation plan, um, or really just terms and condition to how it is that you're going to pay this executive aside from their salary. What are the true incentives for the executive to consider this opportunity? And one of those would be maybe some certainty in terms of a term agreement versus maybe being at will, maybe making it like a 1 or 2 year contract with a renewal. So maybe that's one of the provisions, as well as explaining, like I said, what are the compensation components aside from salary that make sense for that executive to want to join the organization and want to perform a high level of responsibility associated with an executive position. And then, if there are deferred compensation plans in place, as the executive, you want to make sure that you have access not only to the executive agreement, but to the plans themselves, because there's a lot of devil in the details of those plans so that you can understand, let's say, how you earn certain things, how you may forfeit certain things, what happens if the relationship ends, are there non-competes and other restrictive covenants hidden inside those plans. So you want to make sure that if you're an executive, that you have access to the executive agreement and the plans themselves, and that you talk to someone like me, an employment attorney, that can guide you through all of those documents so that you, number one, understand what they mean, and then number two, you see, are there opportunities to negotiate and to make the terms better for you if the terms are not already acceptable to you. And then the last thing that I would say for the executive is understanding, are there any tax implications with this type of compensation plan? Because a normal salary, you have a W-2, you have payroll withholdings, normal tax setup. But once you get into the area of deferred compensation or stock option plans, that's when you may need to do some tax planning with your accountant or a tax lawyer as well.
So, what about from the perspective of the company? If it's your first non-founder but executive employee, what are some things that you should think about there?
Yeah, I think you need to be in a position to properly button up all of your corporate documents and properly set up any compensation plans that you would like to offer to that employee, because the last thing you want to do is promise something in a document which you're not backed up by an actual plan. Okay. So if you're promising verbally, let's say, some benefit, some deferred compensation benefit, but you don't actually have the plan in place to support it, then that's almost like fraud, where there's no existing plan to support this concept of compensation. So I think you need to do your homework on the front end as far as creating the documents, creating the structures, and understanding what are market compensation and benefit rates too, because you want to attract a quality candidate for this position. And if you're well below market value, you're going to get well below market value candidates. So you want to understand what are the market compensation and benefit metrics for this type of position in this area, and then also identifying what it is that you want this executive to do for you, and carving out a job description and a job role so that everybody's clear on what the expectations are and what the arrangement will be should this executive join your organization.